All right, let's get this started. We'll start off with pledge of allegiance. Everybody stand.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody. I'd like to remind everybody that if you wish to speak on an agenda item, please wait for an invitation from the board chair during that discussion. For comments on other school district matters, you may speak during the designated public comment period. Before speaking, state your name and keep remarks brief. Respectful conduct is expected at all times, and the chair may interrupt or end comments that are too long, off topic, inappropriate, or violate privacy rights. This is a school board business meeting held in a public setting. Thank you for your cooperation in keeping it professional and on track. Moving past the Pledge of Allegiance, we will review and adopt the agenda.
Did anybody hear you? I can't hear you.
It is hard to hear you, Ray.
Okay, I will speak up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The one change we are going to make to this agenda is to move number 5 under the discussion items up to item number 1. I move we adopt the agenda as presented with the addition of moving 5 below discussion items number 1. Second. We have a first and a second to approve the agenda as noted. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? Perfect. The next agenda item is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to share brief comments of no more than 3 minutes on matters not listed on the agenda. Legal issues and complaints should follow the grievance process outlined in policy 1700. The board will not respond to comments during the meeting, as its role is to listen and consider public input rather than to engage in discussion. Have any public comment at this time?
My name is Ryan Wary. I'm Tim Ross's dad. I just have one question, and I don't know if the information I'm giving from my son is correct or not, but when one of our students has an issue as far as needing help with schoolwork or needing help with anything else, he's informed me that it's very difficult, that he can't even schedule an appointment with a teacher to try to get help. He said usually after class, the teachers are gone. Before class, they don't usually get there until right before class starts. And like I said, I don't know if I'm misinformed or not, but I would like to try to figure out a way so that if he does need help, and some of the stuff, like I have done some of the stuff in over 20 years. So for me to try to relearn it, it takes me a while to figure it out where the instructors, the teachers, should be there and should be available if need be. And if they're not, then that's gotta be a policy that needs to be changed so that our kids can get the full benefit of what they're supposed to learn.
Ray, can I comment on this? You can, I know it says, can I, or I
Oh,
can
absolutely.
go in the hallway and I'll explain?
What's that?
I can talk to you and explain when he has time to do that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
It is there. It's built in his schedule every day.
That's why I'm saying I didn't know if I was misinformed. That's why, I have a teenage son. And I have expressed a lot of, I said, well, you need to make a schedule or make an appointment. And he said he can't, if they're not available. So I'm just saying that's why I didn't know if I was misinformed or not. I want to get a straight answer, and I want to know if he can get that help or if he's just being too lazy to do it. So, thank you.
Yep.
don't come and read, don't bear with me while I go through this. Good evening. I'm Jeremiah, and I wanted to start by expressing my gratitude. Very thankful for each and one of the board members for your dedication and your hard work and the time you guys put in that position. That being said, I feel it's important to express my concern of how leadership has recently handled a particular issue. As a small community with a small school district, one of our greatest strengths has traditionally been the opportunity for community members to have a voice, engage in open dialogue with their school and leadership. I strongly value free expression and representation. I believe these principles have been diminished in recent actions. I'm here today to read a letter that I personally did not sign, but I feel the responsibility to share because our community members deserve to be heard and represented. For anybody who is unfamiliar with the context, I encourage you to reach out to Gary Gagliardi, myself, or the 60+ other people that signed this letter. This letter is from concerned parents and community members. Dear Alberton School Board, we are requesting the Alberton School Board to begin a formal inquiry into regionalization with the Frenchtown School District. Ideally to pursue an agreement where the Alberton Elementary School will continue to operate under the Unified School District and the middle school and high school will be consolidated. This arrangement promises to achieve financial stability and reduce overhead costs. It will allow Alberton to focus resources on maintaining excellence in the elementary school and provide significantly increased academic and extracurricular opportunities in our middle and high school. Furthermore, it could foster community development by creating more cohesive elementary programs. In light of the findings in the current reality report, we believe this is worth looking into. Our motivation factors include, but are not limited to, poor academic performance, funding concerns, lack of specials and extras, difficulty retaining good teachers and administration, infrastructure issues, funding issues that lead staff to program cuts, outdated resources, and low pay. Families leaving the district for middle school and high school. Roughly 1/3 of the students of the district are going out of district. Class of 24 started with 23 students and ended with 12. The district has been in comprehensive support and improvement with the state for years and is in danger of moving into rigorous action with the state. We believe this arrangement could be mutually beneficial to all parties. In this time of considering the future of Alberton School, we ask you to consider the possibility that can benefit the students and community. We request that a formal letter be drafted and presented as new business at the next school board meeting. Your consideration is appreciated. Respectfully, conservative parents and community members. As I conclude reading that letter, I want to express that I am not fearful of this. The challenges outlined, I am confident of your ability, the board members. I'm confident in your ability to work forward to a brighter future, provided we act with integrity and remain aligned with our values, and work collectively to address the challenges ahead. Thank you for your consideration.
Do we have any more public comment?
Hi, my name is Gary Gagliardi. I wanted to make comments related to the current reality report that the school issued last year. Report that talked about where we're at, our strengths, weaknesses, page 12, there was a SWOT analysis, had 4 columns: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I wanted to talk about, in the opportunities, says, consider going paid aid if it means being able to afford rich experiences, academics, and programs, and doing them well. So in this report from the school, there's a suggestion that we consolidate the high school. It's listed as an opportunity, but then when people started talking about it, it was like very controversial, which is confusing because I don't understand why the school would issue a report that this is an opportunity, but when people want to talk about that opportunity, it's controversial, they don't want to talk about it. And then in the threats line, it says, Superior and St. Regis both built new schools at the same time in the 1990s. At that time, they should have split the high school students between Frenchtown and Superior and kept the grade schools. So that's a threat. I mean, it's kind of the past, so it's the current threat, but it was a problem issue. So if we believe that a mistake was made in the 90s and we didn't regionalize high schools in the 90s, 30 years later, why shouldn't we talk about it now? Even 30 years when our kids are sending their kids to school, do you want them putting on a report? In the 2020s, they should have regionalized the high schools, but they didn't. So I feel very confused why it's such a controversial topic and I want to make that comment.
Do we have any more public comment? Okay. Moving on to item number 4, which is the approval of the minutes from the meeting which occurred on December 9th, 2025.
I motion to approve the minutes for December 2025 board meeting minutes.
Second motion. We have a first and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting which occurred on December 9th, 2025. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? All right. Moving on to number 5, which is approval of claims and warrants.
Check number 19306 for Amazon Capital Services. What was that?
It's from a lot of the grants that Mandy has procured for us, and we were going through Amazon to buy them. So the Amazon was rather large, but it's covered by grant funds.
Okay.
Are we done with technology now?
Yes.
Is that the last check to them?
Yes. It was misspoken last time, but that was the laptop money. This is the laptop, chargers, all that extra equipment we had to buy because we ran out basically. So this is the actual supplies, I guess you could call it, IT supplies, and that's the last check to them.
And that was paid for out of the Montana Reads grant, those laptops there.
Okay.
What is the Red Tail Communications?
So the repeater for our transportation for the buses to talk to each other when they're up in Petty Creek went out. And this, I guess, because they did not realize that Betsy was no longer here, they were sending bills to her email account, even though it said forward to me. So they never got paid, so we ended up having to just pay them. But it works great now, we shouldn't have a problem with them.
out to Mark Foster's.
Correct. So, Mr. Foster did some work for us in July of last year. And for some reason, 2024?
Yes.
So prior to me, prior to Mandy, he came in, he had paperwork. Betsy originally started looking in on it and requested additional information. He was able to get the additional information, and I was able to verify that he in fact did do the job. This was the amount of hours. It was approved by board minutes, and so we did end up paying him for it.
That was the elementary steps, wasn't it?
Correct. It was the elementary steps and ramp is what he fixed.
Okay.
I move we approve claims number 19240 through 19307 in the amount of $55,583.25, and payroll number 20120 through 20131 in the amount of $187,827.21, plus direct deposits. Second. We have a first and a second to approve claims number 19240 through 19307 in the amount of $55,583.25, and also payroll numbers 20120 through 20131 in the amount of $187,827.21, plus direct deposits. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? All right, moving on to item number 6, which will be our reports, first of which is going to be the administrator report from Ms. Seer.
We will vote on this at the, on the agenda items, but missing 2 days, December 17th and 18th, per state law, MCA code, we must make up that second day. So I have asked teachers, like, for some different opinions and those kinds of things, and so I would like to vote on that at the, that second or third agenda item, that we do the last Friday in March is the date that they chose. So, we would like to do that right before spring break there. So, just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that one. Facilities, a couple of big things we have going. For those of you that were at the basketball game, we have a nice drip coming down, that Josie and I spent most of the game mopping up, and so just a safety thing. We've called Comfort Solutions, they have ordered the part for us, but it's going to be about $3,400 to fix the whole thing and get the lift in here and those kinds of things, but that should be done in the next week and a half. The elevator is finally working completely as well. The batteries have been replaced. It was a spendy fix, but Matt's able to use it now for maintenance up and down. So we're good there. And our lead water test all came back clear. Everything, yes, thank you very much, Charlie, for your help with getting the test and all those things for us, but everything came back good there. So we're good for another 5 years? 3 years? 3 years. And then I would like us to talk about a committee for our facilities review of a couple board members to talk about those priorities that we got from McKinstry. So looking at calendars or who wants to be on that, a couple board members to add that into our strategic plan that we're working on. So we need to set our goals there and really look at what those priorities are. And the grants team has already started talking about the Montana Historical Preservation Grant, looking at a couple of other options also, but we need to have some conversations with the board about where we want to go forward with those two buildings. So just in the back of your mind. Chelsea is doing lots and lots of training. We have a mentor for her with Masbo. She's got our payroll, all of those things figured out, and we've kind of got everything cleaned up there, which has been great, but it's been a lot going through all of the different things and figuring out where we're at. But like she said, the last couple things that needed to be paid from before, and so we should all be good and even there. Our facilities maintenance is going to be over budget this year, so just wanted to give you a heads up when we do have that review. Just lots of things that Matt and Steve are finding that needed to be taken care of, and so they're really cleaning things up and And so facilities are improving every day with them, so we appreciate them a lot. And budget-wise, I just wanted to let you guys know that we had written grants. Teachers sent me information about things they needed or wanted for their classroom that weren't curriculum, supplies, those kinds of things, just some furniture and some different things. And we got $6,000 from the Missoula Electric Cooperative to purchase all those things, and everybody got what they wanted out of that. So that's why all those Amazon boxes and that paper. Hiring, we have chosen Chelsea and Ray setting out interviews on December 23rd. We will hopefully hire Alicia here, and we are looking for our 3rd grade teacher right now and hoping to do interviews in the next week or so. Have had a couple of applications and hoping now that everybody's back after the first of the year, we'll have a couple more coming in with young teachers that have just graduated in December. Comprehensive Schools, my meeting is January 20th. It's virtual. We are continuing to work on attendance as a priority. Our graduation rates are on track. Working with all of our students there, we've got 10 of 11 that are on track. We started with 6 of 11 at the beginning of the year, worried about a few of them, and we're 10 of 11 that are completely on track to graduate, and our 11th should get there as well this semester. So we're really excited about the work the teachers are putting with those kids. And quarter 2 assembly awards will be coming January 26th, and that's just attendance. We are responsible and recognizing kids for the great things that they're doing here, and our teachers as well. Our strategic plan, we met in January with the teachers last week and are going to start those planning goals, the SMART goals, breaking down our curriculum, staff development, student engagement, family engagement. Teachers are going to work on that in committees. I'm meeting with each of them starting next week to break those down and come up with our objectives for the next 3 to 5 years with that strategic plan, so we can have that ready for you guys to sign off. We're hoping by May at the latest. So that's moving forward very nicely. And then us doing facilities and financials, we'll wrap that up. Where else here? Profile of the learner is also part of that strategic plan that we are working on that will be built into the committee meetings. Every district is supposed to have a profile of the learner that they have on their website. Top 6 to 8 strategy skills they want kids to have walking out of here. So that's something that's being built into our strategic plan as well. Career fair, we haven't talked much about this yet, but I just wanted to get it on your radar. May 13th from 10 to 2. Kara and Nathan and I have been working with the Department of Labor, trying to put that together, and we have at least 30 businesses already that are planning on coming out, and we're planning on a showcase in the gym and one out on the field as well, so people can bring equipment and outside items as well. We will have the elementary have time to walk through, but really focus on our middle and high school as well, to talk to businesses, talk to colleges, and different trades and those kinds of things. So we're really excited about that coming up, and so I appreciate Kara and Nathan and all the work they're doing there. But May 13th, that'll be during the school day. And technology, we're moving along, same thing there. Ray and Lawrence have completely taken everything over. We met December 31st and we'll meet again at the end of January, trying to get systems into place with enrolling new staff and students. We're looking at access points, a new switch, and a new firewall as well that'll be paid through E-rate. 80% of that will, but they're helping get all of those things figured out. Alicia, with her new role, will also be filling in on some of that technology and already has. So helping do the small things in-house right away so we don't have to wait for them. So that's going to be a huge gift to our staff to make things a little easier with Clever and Infinite Campus and our curriculums and our math testing as well. And Montana Reads Grant, this Friday, all teachers and all but 2 of our paras will be here all day Friday for a PIR day with side-by-side consulting with the Montana Reads Grant. Spending the day talking about our instructional framework, talking about the science of reading, and what we can do to improve instruction and support our teachers with professional development. So we're really excited to have them here. And just the list here, threat assessment team, Alicia and I met with Sheriff Funk and Fire Chief Brisby, starting to talk about the emergency operations plan, getting our flow chart going, So that is all set up in case there is an emergency, so just really breaking down all of the steps with our threat assessments, safety in the building. If there is an emergency that comes up, what do we need to do? And so I really appreciate their time, Alicia's time with that, and our student success team has been huge with threat assessments and also looking at that emergency operations plan to make sure that we're ready to go and hopefully never have to use it. And behavior is all updated, we did that last month. There's a policy on 504s that I would like us to approve tonight, and then our 504 system and special ed systems are all set as well. And we were just told that we will have federal monitoring in the spring for special ed. So I haven't got the documentation for that yet, but that'll be Katie and Josie and Chelsea and I running through the last few years of special ed, our systems, and those kinds of things. And as you guys know, we have a great system this year. Katie's doing a great job, Josie's doing a great job, and so really getting it up and going where we need to go. So the time though, we'll figure that out as it comes, because there's a lot of paperwork through the federal government that we have to do for special ed monitoring. And I think that is my last one. Any questions for me? A lot of information, I know.
Will you explain a little bit about number 5 there? Tell us what a comprehensive school is.
Yes. So we are, right now, our middle school and our high school is in comprehensive status is what that's called. So they look at our attendance, they look at our state assessments, our graduation rates, our ACT scores, and every school is graded on that. So Albertson's middle and high school have been in the comprehensive schools for the last 5 years, or as far as I know, at least 5 years. But our middle school was inches away, and I met with Brent in December, and our middle school will pass that threshold this year, so they will be back to universal status. And then our high school, it's going to come down to just a couple of figures, but the growth that we've seen this year with what we're doing with attendance and some of the extra things that we put into place, he's seen the growth. So it'll be a last moment thing to know if we stay in comprehensive for our middle school, or for our high school, move into universal, or there's a chance we can move down to the rigorous status, which we could lose some funding for the high school under rigorous status. And then instead of quarterly visits, he'll be here monthly with me. They'll look through some curriculum and do some extra things with us. But like I said, Brent and I have been meeting almost every month and talking about the things that our teachers are doing to move out of that, and what our kids are doing, which has been really great this year.
I have a question about that.
Absolutely.
Does that mean, with comprehensive status, does that mean that we need improvement?
Yes.
What?
Yep.
So is there something that our teachers are going to change as far as curriculum, as far as that, to bring us up to where we are giving our students the best that we can?
Absolutely. And the great news is the Montana Reads grant is the one I talked about a little bit earlier. That was a grant that we did this spring, and we got $1 million for that, for new curriculum, new supplies, professional development for our teachers. So we have a brand new math curriculum and a brand new ELA curriculum, and so we're starting there, and then now we're doing training for our teachers to look at our instructional practices and what is happening. And like I said, every teacher will be at that meeting on Friday to work on that. So as a team, they are working in their PLCs, also looking at assessment data, where our kids are, what we need to do different. And then through the grant, we hired 2 consultants. So they're outside of the school, and they will work individually with teachers and then in small groups. We have, for example, we have a consultant that's going to focus directly with the high school teachers to really look at what they're doing in the classroom and how they can support students. So we're moving that direction for sure.
Okay.
Did that answer that?
Yeah, that does. It's just because that status, it kind of brings up a good point with the letter that was read earlier.
Yep.
With, the education our students are receiving, and, that's why some of the benefits of, possibly going, if it's ever granted, with Frenchtown, because, our students' education you know, extracurriculars and stuff like that. You know, if we're failing to meet the goal that our students need to succeed in life, you know, then if we can't do it here, then possibly with the addition of, you know, the help with Frenchtown, it may help. But if we can get that up, then by all means, I hope we do.
Right. And me too. And first year for me, obviously here, but just having some great conversations with our teachers and with Brent, I keep saying, but Brent works for the Office of Public Instruction. So that's part of being a comprehensive school. So we meet regularly and we check all of the things where we're at. We are doing some extra prep for our ACTs and for our state tests and just really focusing on where our kids are and what they need. We're also doing a lot of focus on our CTE classes, and that's part of this career fair and getting our kids extra electives through the Montana Digital Academy and really trying to push like what angles do these kids want to do dual credit. There are kids that are taking college classes right now to support what they want also. And with those CTE, really looking at what we can do more with the trades and those kinds of things for kids that don't want to go to college, but we want to get them ready for what they are going to do next. So that is on our agenda right now. And we just got some extra money for advanced opportunities as well toward that CTE and those trades and those kinds of things. So hoping we can spread that around a little bit more.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Sarah,
Yes.
what is the impact, or is there an impact on the disproportionate number of special needs students that we have in this school and that status for us? And if there is an impact with that, is there anything that's being done to address that specifically?
So we are higher than the state average. We're just 25% we're right at, so we're back under 30%, which is a good thing. But as I was talking earlier, our special ed systems we're finally really putting into place, and so we have a full-time special ed teacher, elementary and in the high school as well. And this year we have 5 paraprofessionals right now. So every kid on their IEP is getting the minutes they need plus some. And then our regular ed teachers are also doing interventions within their schedule on top of that to support those kids to help grow those skills for them. And so I don't think that answered your question, sorry. So how is that?
Well, it does answer the second half of it, but I just didn't know what the impact of that was. Like, because is it something that they look at and they give us a little extra leeway with it, or is it like these are your students and this is where you need to be and there's no questions, like that's just the line and we've got to be above the line kind of situation?
They, all of our students take the state math assessments, but some of our special ed kids have an alternative is what it is, and so they're working where they're at their level, which helps us just a little bit, but the numbers there are where they're at. And so we, the other thing we did this year with the Montana Reads grant though is hire an interventionist teacher, and so we have a K-8 Title I teacher is what it is. So our Tier 2 kids are getting those skills that they need to help them get up to Tier 1, back up to the regular ed classroom, and so not falling through the cracks there and ending down to that special needs. So we're really excited about that program as well. So hoping those will make a difference with that Montana Reads grant over the next 5 years. That answer it closer?
Yes, thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I heard mention that the middle and high schools, what's the K through 6 status on that? Comprehensive
Universal.
stuff?
We are not comprehensive, so the K-6 is universal.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's where our middle school will be next year for sure, and then our high school is where we're looking where we'll be at.
I'm trying to dig out a rough era in Albertson School. All right. Next is the athletic director report, Ms. Schaefer.
Obviously, our varsity basketball programs are up and running. Our boys team has been victorious twice against Victor and once against Valley Christian. And if you missed Saturday, you missed an amazing time in the Panther Dim. Our boys won their first home game in 12 years. So that's pretty amazing. They came in ready to play nonsense and were able to walk away with a victory 70-58. So the boys were super excited for that. And on top of that, our girls varsity team also got their first win since unco-oping with Superior. So those of you concerned about our sports programs, they are student athletes play with their heart all the time. So to me, I would much rather have that, and that we can see us working into more victorious performances, but I'd much rather have being known for kids playing with their heart and truly working out their buzzer to buzzer as a team. Our junior high boys just started practice right after Christmas break. They had their first jamboree this past weekend. That's our 5th through 7th graders. There's 13 boys on that team, so we're super excited about those numbers. They are playing a B schedule. What that means is it shows no 8th graders on that team. Our 8th graders are playing up to varsity. So they had their first 2 games under Coach Cedal. They lost to Charlo 16-15, and they lost to Arlie 15-9. So they had some really close games. They only had 7 kids that were healthy enough to play. So hopefully with the full roster coming in this coming weekend, they had 2 superior to play on Saturday. Our FTC robotics team heads also this weekend for their second opportunity to qualify for state. So they are headed to Helena. So we want to wish them good luck in their quest to be state bound again. And then we have the MHSA annual meeting, which I'll also be attending in Helena, not at the same place that they will be competing, but I'll be there to learn it's all ADs across the whole state of Montana. We come together to talk about all the proposals and amendments, what's the future of any Montana High School Athletic Association, curriculum, all sorts of things, scheduling, everything like that. Thank you.
All right, moving on to MTSS report.
And Mrs. Clevenger isn't here, so I was just going to read through a couple of those real quick. I already talked a little bit about the behavior system. We sent all of our updated behavior stuff to parents, and we've met briefly with staff, and at PLCs this week and next week, we're going to go through all of that. So K-12, we're all on the same page with where we're at with behavior and how we're handling situations, how we can support teachers, how we can support students, and keep in contact with parents through that. So that has been a big lift that the MTSS team has been working on, and that one we're going to be able to check off the list this month, so we're really excited about that. Also, the communication plan during the month of, revise the communication plan during the month of January? Do you know anything about that? No, I don't either. I'm so sorry. Alberton was approved December 19th for the 2026 E-grant for the MTSS. So we ended up doubling our MTSS money this year also. Rachel reached out to the state, and so we'll have money that has to be spent by the end of February. So the teacher's working on this, some outside time, some professional development, and then we will have another $3,100, and a group of teachers are going to go to Bozeman this summer for the MTSS conference, the middle of June that they go to, and that'll be paid for out of this grant, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions, comments on any of that?
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, let's move down to our discussion/action agenda. As mentioned before, we're going to move number 5 up to number 1. This new number 1 is to approve upcoming overnight trips, January 16th through 17th to Helena, Montana, and February 5th through 6th to Bozeman, Montana.
I move we approve the upcoming overnight trips for January 16th and 17th at Helena, Montana, and February 5th through 6th to Bozeman, Montana.
Second. What are these for?
These are for the robotics team. So we have 2 high school robotics teams. One is already qualified for the state tournament, and the second team, this will be their qualifier for their opportunity to compete at the state level as well. We do overnight due to potential road difficulties going over McDonald Pass and then driving to Bozeman as well. So in the interest of the safety of our students, we are going to overnight at those hotels before. And there's a whole lot of last minute preparation that goes on in the hotel lobbies, and we're usually up till 4 a.m. before we have to be there at 7. So it's fun time. And I highly recommend, we'll put that out, the robotics tournaments will be televised for both of these tournaments, so if anyone has any interest in watching this season teams perform, we'll get that out there, and they should be emceed by the folks there. It's total chaos, so once you figure it out, it's pretty exciting. So we have 2 robotics programs that, well, actually we have 3 now. So we have a robotics program under FIRST, and we have First Tech Challenge, which is the lower school, not lower school in the sense that it's bad, the lower budget program, because there are 2 schools in the state of Montana that participate in First Robotics Challenge, which it costs roughly $80,000 a year to field a team there. That's a lot of money, but on the other side, we are able to field 2 high school teams here. We have done an excellent job here. This is something that Alberton has, French County does not have, or Superior, or St. Regis, and there's one team in Missoula for this in our AOR. So these kids, every year there is a changing course of events that go on there. It's like basketball this year, more or less. Where there's 30 teams in the state of Montana, there's roughly 30,000 teams globally that participate in this. Either way, these kids have an objective. They have to design a robot, program it through autonomous modes and driver operated. They have to do fundraising and coding and building and CAD and CNC machining, and it's amazing what these kids are doing. It blows me away every time. They're a heck of a lot smarter than I am, and I'm one of their coaches. So that is that. This year we also expanded into First Lego League, which is the feeder system for this. So we have First Lego League Discovery, which is the younger kids right now, and they're learning coding and programming, but they will not have a state tournament that they will participate in. Then we have First Lego League Challenge, which is being coached by Dr. Desi Clark on here, and they do compete. They will go to a state tournament in Missoula. I believe there's roughly 500 teams in the state of Montana for that. And then if they do qualify for state on their first year, which is entirely possible, they would compete at State Bozeman right after, the second day after. So we would stay a day longer if they go and help cheer them on and help run their system there. It's a fantastic program. It is renowned around the world. In addition to that, we were talking about career education on there. This district has a chapter for Skills USA, which is a job skills training program in a competitive nature. So we have students learning and training for welding and in this case robotics is another big one. But there are 119 different categories that we could potentially compete in on this. And it goes to the state level and then we'll advance on to the national level. That's everything from plumbing, electrical wiring, aircraft repair, full-on diesel mechanic, that it's on there. So last year, our middle school team for the second year in a row took gold at state. 2 years ago, when we did qualify for gold, we did not elect to go to nationals, but this last year, which I guess is, yes, truly last year, our middle school team took silver for Skills USA for the Urban Search and Rescue. So basically they make non-disposal robots, and my son, Malin Manson, and Brennan Peebleson were the team that represented Montana on that, and they absolutely crushed it on the national stage. So it's a big deal. There's like 18,000 participants across all this stuff, so it was a really big deal, and it just goes to show, I mean, STEM is alive and well, and going quite well in our district here. Contrary to popular belief, we did not give up on STEM in Alberton. Every teacher here, with the exception of 2, teaches STEM, so that is really great. We have a lot of things going for us that other districts do not offer at present, and they don't have anything in the future or plans to do it. So that's what's going on with robotics. So it's up and coming. We got a lot of kids on there, and our teams keep growing every year, and especially with these younger kids in First Lego League, they're kicking butt, and it's pretty amazing to see what they are achieving. So it's something to be proud of, and it's on there. We will have an open house again. I think we're gonna have some scrimmages here where we'll show what is going on. Mr. Morris and I are the tech chairs for that, and I think we are going to try and have a scrimmage where we would host that at the school. The community is welcome to come and see what that's all about. So we would showcase FTC as well as Skills USA, so you guys can see how that works with what our kids are doing with the future of drones and technology. the way of the future, so. Anything? Thank you.
We have a first and a second to approve the upcoming overnight trips from January 16th through 17th to Helena, Montana, and February 5th through 6th to Bozeman, Montana for robotics competitions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? All right, moving on to what is now the new number 2, which is to consider recommendation to ban Gary Gagliardi from school property pursuant to policy 4315. Background on this, prior to last month's board meeting, there was a heated conversation up here at the board table. At one point during that conversation, Mr. Gagliardi threw a pile of papers into board member Manson's face and proceeded to use foul language in earshot of teachers, children, and community members before leaving the meeting. After conferring with our attorney, we have learned that this is the appropriate recommendation in the event that community members assault board members.
Excuse me, what exactly does board policy 4315 say? I did not get the opportunity to try to look it up. Is it in the packet?
No, it's,
Hold 1 second.
It states, any person, including an adult, who behaves in an unsportsmanlike or inappropriate manner during a visit to the school or a school event may be ejected from the event and/or denied permission to access school buildings or property or school events as determined by the Board of Trustees. Examples of unsportsmanlike or inappropriate conduct include, but are not limited to, using vulgar or obscene language or gestures, possessing or being under the influence of any alcoholic beverage or illegal substance, possessing a weapon, fighting or otherwise striking or threatening another person, failing to obey instructions of a security officer or district employee, and engaging in any illegal or disruptive activity, other violations of district policy. The superintendent is authorized to temporarily restrict access to to school buildings or property and recommend to the Board of Trustees denial of future admission to any person by delivering or mailing a notice by certified mail with return receipt requested containing the date, time, and place of board hearing, description of the unsportsmanlike conduct, and proposed time period admission to school buildings or property or school events will be denied.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I expound a bit?
Please.
Those of you who've known me for many years, some of you have been around for a long time since I first showed up here. I've been accused in the past of being soft on discipline. And I think I am. I'm always looking for the way to bring, well, it's been kids. In this case, it's an adult. I look for ways to try to get things back to functional. I look for second chances. If you've been coming to the board meetings, if you recall, I asked the other board members to allow a student back in for this year who really hadn't performed as well as, not just that we had hoped, but just hadn't performed well last year, but he seemed to honestly want to make a an attempt to do it. So far, I have heard of no problems with him being here this year. I have to assume he's making at least some reasonable efforts, and he's been in attendance. And with that in mind, with that background, I unfortunately wasn't here last month to see this, but I have to assume that the basics of the charge are valid and of the throwing papers. Got a board member?
There'll be an opportunity, you guys will open it for public comment. I said you guys will open it for public comment. So it's not a back and forth with the audience, but they'll have an opportunity to present.
Well, I was just, he was, watching, I'll finish about this, I would ask the board to consider merely censoring his behavior, requesting that if at any time he's on the school grounds, he exhibits, well, according to the board policy, good sportsmanship, ask him to behave as a respectful member of the community. With the understanding that if there are further problems, you will go to actual banning. That's it.
Thank you. On discussion? No? Do you have any public comment at all? Yes, Brad?
So, multi-parts maybe, just so I understand and get caught up here. Did this happen during the public comment section?
No.
What prompted his reaction?
This isn't a time for back and forth, but if you wanna explain the situation that led, like, if you wanna explain.
When is the time for back and forth?
Never, public comment is never the time for back and forth, it's not a discussion between the board and the public.
Okay, then I'll comment based on assumptions. If there was something he didn't agree with, that he caused him to throw the papers, I still don't see the definition of assault here, because if there was assault here, why is he standing there not doing anything when this occurred? As far as I know, he did not get arrested.
He was not here.
He was not here last year.
So, okay, so should he have been? Because now's your opportunity.
Well, you were on the board, Brad, when people's lives were getting threatened. Were there police here?
Yes.
Okay, we came into a board meeting last week and we didn't expect that we were going to be assaulted. And
I'm not sure throwing papers is the definition of assault here. I think it's convenient because it sounds like somebody didn't want to talk about something he was bringing up. And if it was an aside for public comment, sorry, hang on. And if it was aside from the public comment section of it, and he was just having a discussion at the table and was told that he wasn't allowed to share something during public comment, that is a failure on the board's part, and the board should be held responsible for that.
I think he stated that it was prior to the beginning of the board meeting.
So I still stand what I just said. So, go ahead.
With your permission.
Please.
I would encourage you to look up the MCA for assault, especially the subsection that says reasonable apprehension of bodily harm. If he put enough fear into him, then that's assault by reasonable apprehension.
So
Throwing
fear
up
is
the
bodily
papers,
harm, or
I
is
let
it
you
paper
finish,
cut?
I let you finish, you're gonna let me finish, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So look up that MCA, you can
Okay.
Google assault MCA, many subsections of it. Okay? You don't have to physically touch somebody, you don't get to decide whether it made him feel like he was about to get
I do.
physically hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look that up before you accuse,
There
if he
was
wasn't
no
assaulted,
accusation.
things like that, throwing paper in somebody's face, that's absolutely
There was no
assault.
accusation.
Okay?
And second of all, if this does go through, are we agreeing that an assault occurred?
No, to be so clear, it doesn't matter if this met the criminal definition of assault, the board still has the right to prohibit someone from coming onto district property for the conduct listed in the policy that was read.
Sounds good. So based on his behavior this evening, I really don't see a continuing problem with Gary showing up here to a public forum especially, and if he's got kids that attend a school, events that they might be involved in. I'm not sure where fairness comes in with your guys' priorities. I don't see it happening right now. It seems ridiculous. We're adults. I mean, I thought we were. So if throwing papers because someone's upset merits assault, then I think maybe we're failing as a community to not do something about that and further engaging. This is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And if it really comes down to something he wanted to talk about that he was told not to, again, that was a failure on the board's part. The letter had to be read by someone else tonight. And it was signed by members of the community. So if you're going to dismiss all the members of the community that signed that, I think that should definitely be escalated to like a state issue then. I don't see how this is healthy, avoiding the topic of conversation. I mean, the whole point of this is so kids get an education, some sort of fulfilling life, doing sports and whatnot at this age, and walk away with something in their hand that will get them somewhere in life. And shutting that topic down seems utterly absurd. Thanks.
I'm gonna respond, I wanted to just respond to you
I
first.
would actually encourage you to let the rest of the public comment, and then you guys can resume discussion, and that would be your time to discuss those points.
As somebody who was at the meeting, I just wanted to clarify that he wasn't told he couldn't read it. The conflict, to my understanding, was that there was a minor signature on the list of, and so it was more of a personal conflict at the beginning, which I can allow Ray to speak to. But it happened before comment, and it's unfortunate that Gary can read a letter, because of the interaction that went down beforehand. And I guess I don't want to speak further than that necessarily, other than to say that I can see the board specifically saying you guys are not allowed to read this, and it's not that it's not a topic for discussion. It is a topic that could have been discussed.
I would like to speak. You did say that you couldn't read the letter. And confirm with me after the meeting that you did say that.
So everybody knows, he did say he could not read the letter.
I unfortunately was not at that meeting. I wish I would have been. And yes, it's hearsay or secondhand. I did hear that that letter was not allowed, and part of the reason was due to a minor who voluntarily said he wanted to sign it. And Gary had told him, well, understood that it's a minor. So yes, I understand, like if it was a vote and it went to count, yeah, the minor probably wouldn't, that vote wouldn't have counted. But we're in a spot, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Me?
No.
Oh, Sear. Mandy's here.
But she even kind of confirmed some things that our education isn't up to par. And some of the things that on that letter, and I read that letter like 2 or 3 times to make sure I understood it. It was actually something, it was a suggestion that would be beneficial to our children. And to not allow it just because of a signature, and there may have been other reasons that it was not allowed to be read, but I heard from other people that were at the meeting that it was not allowed to be read. It wasn't just Gary telling me, it was somebody else telling me, because I was interested in how the meeting went. But we need to listen to the parents of the school, and just like we need to listen to our students, our children, if something's not going on. But to not allow it, yeah, it was frustrating. I'm sure Gary was frustrated. And to toss the papers, it's not assault, it's minor, it is what it is. Yeah, it created maybe a little bit of a scene, but we need to really think about, that was something that was very important, that a lot of parents in this community feel strongly about. And I really think that, you know, I'm glad that I was here tonight, so I could actually hear it be read in front of you, so that you as the board members can realize our concern. And that letter, with all the signatures, the community is concerned. And I think that's more important than worrying about some papers being thrown. Listen to us. Listen, you know, we'll listen to you. We want you to listen to us. And I think that the letter was well thought out, well written, and it's something that should be taken into consideration.
Just extend on that a tiny bit, and then I'm kind of asking a question and making a suggestion at once, and then just the loose parts that I know of this situation is that there is a huge difference between signing a letter versus signing a petition versus making a vote. And I'm kind of wondering where, or if the school could draw a line or whatever else, and what's appropriate for a line to sign. Because to me, in terms of a letter, that actually to me is a place where students do have an opportunity to speak towards their education potentially. And a letter is something that, a petition, maybe a minor shouldn't be signing a vote, maybe a minor shouldn't be a part of that, but maybe a letter is a space where students have the ability to say something or sign something to speak towards their own education. And I'm just wondering what those lines are. Maybe it is completely inappropriate that the kid's signing a letter, I don't know. But I'm wondering where does student comment come into these things a little bit too, in their voice towards their education, and where are those lines? And I don't know if those lines already exist, or if they should exist, maybe we need to create them so that this is all more clear for the future. But that's just my comment here, is where the, listening to parents, and then where do students' voices come into that as well.
So I'll take that one. So the state of Montana, in the Constitution and the MCA, actually codifies a constitutional right for children to participate. And Montana law explicitly recognizes that they're entitled to assert their children's constitutional rights, which includes the right to petition the government, including the school board, for redress of grievances. So long as the action does not rise to the level of a qualified elector or a legal voter roll, a minor signature is proper on any sort of communication of that nature to a school board or other regulatory entity operating on behalf of the state, a municipality, and that also is appended by the right of participation for all Montanans to have public participation in agency decisions. And because students are members of the public, they are actually considered primary stakeholders with respect to being able to comment to the school.
I don't think it's about the letter, I think it's about how we have a topic that is controversial, and how we behave in front of each other, right? And how we respond to people. And so I think the topic at hand is like, how do we behave? Is it appropriate to have that type of conversation? And maybe stepping back from those types of conversations, going back to meaningful conversation rather than aggression.
Thank you for reading that background for my colleague. That is the problem. It's action results, instigating and being excited about the potential of our school doing something legitimate or not. We have that opportunity to do that now, and if we alienate the people that sign a document that's questioning it, that's why I have to read letters that I'm not reading. Really am not. But we are all people. We all make mistakes. I plead you guys for grace because according to the rules of sportsmanship, yeah, you guys do have the right to end here. But there's a lot of other people in our school district that just have the right to end as well. Please think it through. That's what I ask. We have a lot of good people in our community that are willing to help. We don't want them to be alienated. Because we need everybody to make this work. And that's where I see the difference.
So unfortunately, I also was not here. In small town, we hear lots of gossip, we hear lots of rumor. I was always taught there are three sides to every story. There's the two parties involved and then the truth somewhere in the middle. So I look at this with that in play, understanding that the story I heard said that Mr. Fredette, you were also very much engaged in this very heated discussion before Gary threw the papers and that sort of thing. Y'all are the same size, maybe he doesn't find you intimidating. Someone like me, I'm not easily intimidated, but someone my size, if you raised your voice at me like that, may very much consider it an assault because I would then be afraid of you. So I think we have to be very careful of the line that we're trying to draw tonight and how easily that line can be pulled one way or the other in making this decision. And I too would ask for some grace because this petition that is in discussion, letter, whatever we want to call it tonight, many of the people who signed that are the same people who went out and knocked on doors and got together and did the things that needed to do for the levy to support this school to pass. It's not that they're trying to cause a division in this community. They're trying to figure out what is the best way to keep this school, and if it means pull it back and then let it grow again, then maybe that's where we have to start. But that's the discussion. And that's all that is being asked, is that there be a discussion. Was it handled as well as it could have been? Obviously not, but I don't think that it was handled as well as it could have been by either party involved. So I would ask for some grace there. Karina, I remember when you first ran, one of the things that I remember was that you wanted transparency from the board. You wanted to know what it was that was going on back there that you felt like was being hidden from us out here. I would ask you to keep that in mind when you're looking at the behaviors of this community when we are trying to get something presented to the board that is of a concern to us. Nicole, I remember your thing was, the board didn't want to listen to you. They wanted nothing to do with you when you felt like there was something that was directly impacting your children, and therefore you ran. And you made people respect you for it, and you made people come back and hear you. And again, I would ask that when you are looking at taking a vote on whether or not to ban Gary, keep those things in mind. Keep those things in mind and how frustrated you were at your point before you were able to take other actions to get your issues resolved. And how would have, if someone had gotten into a yelling match with you about it, how would have you responded to them? Would have you have shown a level of frustration that maybe other people didn't think was appropriate? And if so, is that really assault, or are we just being frustrated and we need to grow up again and be adults and sit down and have an adult conversation on both sides of the table and not just expect it from one side?
Do we have no more public comment? Okay.
The board can have further discussion prior to making a motion.
Okay. That was an unfortunate situation last month. I guess everybody here needs to understand the background. Sometime in the beginning of November, I learned that Gary had secured my son's signature on a letter. A lot of you know what that letter is about. Jeremiah read it tonight. Very admittedly, I was frustrated by this. I talked to my son, and my son had a side too, and how that letter was represented to him. And so I called Gary, and unfortunately I had to leave a voicemail. But on that voicemail, I was very clear in asking him to take my son's name off of that letter. My son's a minor, I am his guardian, and that's what I wanted for him. So when we talk about parents being listened to, I was the first parent who was not listened to. Didn't make me feel very good. Okay? So we had an exchange. If you need to know the particulars of the exchange, I'm happy to go through that. I don't think it's very important though. I think everybody gets the gist. All right. Gary at one point did say scratch his name off of there, but unfortunately he had already presented it to the board. That's what goes into the vault. It's going to be in a filing cabinet until this place burns down. Okay. I didn't like being disrespected as a parent. And I'm imagining that you guys wouldn't like being disrespected as parents either. Now you see how I handled it. Gary was not told that he couldn't speak during public comment, Gary was told that he couldn't read that letter in its current state. I'm not afraid of that letter. I'm not worried about it. We had a month to talk about it. We did so much legwork on the particulars in that letter, both the information that was valid and both the information that was invalid. We were fully prepared at any time to discuss that letter. It's not really that big of a deal. But when I was disrespected as a parent, I didn't let the letter be read. I appreciate what you said tonight, Dr. Weber. When we took this to the attorney in the first place, I knew that it was something that had to be addressed. But to be completely honest, I feared the result. As I told Gary when we talked on the phone, the last thing I want to do is dampen somebody's voice. This is fairly unprecedented, with the exception of the first interaction that you and I ever had at a board meeting, Jess. But just like the time that I asked you to stop reading the letter that you were reading, I felt that I was within every right as both a parent and the board chair to request an amendment to the letter that Gary had before it was read in public comment. And just so everybody knows, I have no idea if that letter you read tonight has my son's name on it still. It's okay, it's okay. So, consider that. For those of you who don't have kids, for those of you who don't have kids that are in that age group, but for those of you who do, ask yourself what you would have done in my situation.
I think my concern with what you said, I don't have an issue with you trying to be protective of your child. Like, we all do that. In a true, setting, they would have just gone through and invalidated signatures such as a minor's. I think what concerns me here
I'm sorry,
is,
we are past the public comment, and also I don't
but
think
this is
that-
important because
but
he
I can't let you
completely
continue.
admitted to
Can you
contradicting
let us
two
talk?
positions.
Yes, you have a chance.
Additionally, I want to be clear that the legality or the contents of the letter is not an issue. It was the interaction between your board member and a member of the public.
I wish to speak to the attorney quietly. Is that acceptable?
Why don't we take a break here? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I've never taken a break.
Okay. We're just gonna adjourn the meeting for a break, and then we'll come back in 10, is everybody? 5 minutes? Okay. Just 5 minutes? Okay. Can you, I just need you, yeah, you have that.
Did I tell you? I think I tell you.